If you missed my 2021 channel goals video, I did mention that because I tend to read a lot of books, I would be doing mid-month, like prior to before I got into a reading slump. Of course, I tend to read a lot of books, and I was like, okay, I will probably be splitting my wrap up into two videos. So I'll do a mid-month one and then an end of the month one. And see, that kind of has not worked out well for me because um my reading slump kind of came back and kicked me in the face. So yeah, I did not really read that much books in March. I read 4 books in March, and so far in April, this is the middle of April, and I've only read one book, and it is a reread. But interestingly enough, by the time I finished it, I kind of wanted to like get back into reading again. So who knows?
Only time will tell.
I'm going to talk about the new books I read in the last 6 weeks, and then I will talk about the 2 rereads I did. Starting with this amazing shot. Like, see how skinny she is? She's a skinny legend. The Half-God of Rainfall by Inua Ellam. This is an epic. And when I say epic, I don't mean like the story is epic, even though it is. I also mean that the storytelling format is epic because we follow Oludemi. Oludemi, who is also called Demi for short, is a demigod. I know, a demigod called Demi. Interesting. Same spelling, but the pronunciation. That's why I love Yoruba language. But anyway, Oludemi is a demigod. His mother is the high priestess of Oshun Modupe, who was trigger warning raped by Zeus. You know, Zeus, who just cannot keep his ding-dong in his fucking pants, even when he's jumping across pantheons to go do his stupid shit. So yes, I just mentioned Oshun, the Yoruba goddess, and I mentioned Zeus, the Greek god. This book actually brings in different deities and different pantheons, and is done so brilliantly well. Inua Ellam definitely knows what he's saying, what the story is set out to say. Like I said, this was done in an epic format. So yes, like Homer's Iliad. So you have it written in epic poetry form. It's telling us the tale of, you know, the assault that Modupe experienced and the child that was birthed as a result of it, and, you know, Oshun deciding to not pull an Athena because, like we know, Athena is representative of the patriarchy. Not Artemis. You know, Artemis would not have done that bullshit, but Athena would. But anyway, she decides to, you know, once again apologize. Like, she's really sorry to her high priestess and offers her protection to Modupe and Oludemi. But Oludemi then finds interest in basketball, and because of the fact that, you know, the way in which we treat people in sports like gods, well, the adorations and the cheers and the praises, every single thing that is heaped onto him as a basketball star kind of turns into worship. And this is worship that is given to him and not his, cannot keep his fucking dick in his pants father, Zeus. And as such, Zeus sets out to destroy this boy so that he can claim that power back for himself. This story is a vengeance story because it is Oludemi's story. It's partway Oludemi's story and partway Modupe's story, and just watching her take a vengeance on this man, this god, this being, this entity that seemed to think that eases the world to control, to mold, to take whatever the fuck he wants to take, to see her go head to head with this god, and spoiler alert, win. Because I think it's important. I think it's important when you're telling a story about a woman who has suffered sexual assault, when she's taking her agency and taking her vengeance, a rightful vengeance. I think it's very important for that to be seen all the way through, and that's the reason why this is a spoiler I will share, because I wanted that and I got that. And yes, that is coming from someone who has also been sexually assaulted. So I really did enjoy this book. Like I said, it's very short. I finished it in an afternoon. Absolute 5-star read. Loved every moment of it. Like, this bringing in of, like I said, different pantheons, Yoruba culture, all the Yoruba gods, and then also this love for basketball, because you could tell that, you know, Ellam's really loves basketball. All of that came through in this book, and I really loved it. 5 stars.
This was delicious.
Next, I read the perfection that is Legendborn. Oh my god, Legendborn was so good, y'all. Firstly, a humongous thank you to Luana. Luana, thank you for getting me this book. I'm just I got this as a gift from Luana Ferrez, like I said, and this just this is an Arthurian retelling that also brings in black girl magic and brings in African American history. Like the way in which Tracey Deonn weaves this like Arthurian legend and myth into African American stories and history and culture and power and magic. It was just magical and beautiful. In this, we follow Bree, whose mother was killed, right? And she feels guilt about it because she's always wanted to escape her town, and when her mother dies, like following them having this fight, and so she's not dealt with that loss, and so she has this early university program whereby high performing high school students have moved to the university so that they can take university courses and basically, kind of like a direct entry sort of thing into university. And so she's there one night going to a party, drags her best friend with her, and then she kind of sort of sees this demon sucking the life force of this human, and she's like, what the fuck is that? Right? Like, rightfully, because I'm like, Brie, me too. That would have been me. And then to not make matters worse, there's this boy that comes with like magical eyes and is over there wiping people's memories and wiping her memory. But when it wipes her memory, it fails to take. What instead happens is that it sets off her own memory, and she realizes and she remembers that, wait, there was a motherfucker kind of like this motherfucker who was there wiping out my memory when my mother died. Oh my God, was my mother's death not an accident? So she decides to infiltrate this group called Legendborns, who are the descendants of authors, like the Knights of Authors Roundtable. So they call themselves Legendborn, they fight demons, blah, 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 etc., etc. And she decides to infiltrate this group so she can find out exactly what happened with her mother. And she does so with the help of Nick, this former Legendborn who had walked out of that life. And they are, they're flirting, they're connecting, they're making googly eyes, they're falling in love. All the while this is happening to me, I'm like, oh my God, like I get it, Brie, and I get it, Nick is cute, but like you got chemistry with Selwyn though. Like Selwyn Kane is a piece of shit, and it's all like, and it's like, I don't trust you. And it goes about like he's kind of constipated, with all the glare, and it's like, I'm waiting for you to screw up. And I'm like, boy, shut up. You're losing sight of what you should actually focus on. And turned out that I was right. I didn't know I was going to be right, but I was right because he should have focused on something else. But anyway, when I get really excited, I start talking really fast. Can you all tell that I'm getting really excited about this book? Anyway, calm down, Noria. Arthurian retelling, it was really good. I loved the story about Brie coming to her power, but I also love how Tracey Deonn wrote about grief in this book. You could tell that, there's this line that Brie says that just guts me in the heart. It's like goodbye. When you say goodbye, it's never, you never think it's forever, right? And she's right, because when I lost my dad, it was so weird. I'd spoken to, he was ill. I'd spoken to him 2 weeks prior. He was ill and he had been in the hospital. And then my mom called Mom Money and she's like, he's gone. And all I could just think is, I didn't even get to say goodbye. And then, when I'm dealing with that, the next thing is, when you lose somebody, when the empty platitude and apologies come and people are like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I'm like, what did I lose? And that is something that Bree's like, my mother is not missing. My mother is gone. I didn't lose her. I'm not going to discover her 2 days. And I'm like, this is a girl that is grieving. Tracey Deonn is able to capture that so well. And how she dealt with grief and magic, and I repeat, a mix of Arthurian legend and African American history and culture and magic is it was brilliant. This writing, it was Can you all tell that I love this book? I gave this book 5 stars. I cannot wait for the second book. Ooh, because there was the twist. I body read this with Injeri over at Onyx Pages, which, by the way, if you're not following Injeri, you totally should be. Injeri gives you amazing, fantastic books. She reads Afrofuturism and her books recommendation. Anyway, I body read this with Injeri, and I was body reading it with Injeri, and I was also talking to Brittney over at Melanin Eclectic, and I was like, because there's there's a chosen one trope that is present in YA, especially when you're doing Arthurian retellings, and I'm like, I have my suspicions, and my suspicions were confirmed, just not the way in which I thought they would. And I'm like, wow. This book had me going wow, especially the last the last 50 pages, my mouth was permanently opened. And I cannot wait for the second book in this book because I really, really did enjoy it. Loved it. 5 stars.
Perfection.
Next, I read Slay by Brittney Morris. This was also gifted to me. This one by Lina Ackerman. Lina, thank you so much. Your generosity knows no bound, especially because, God, I love this book.
She's an icon. She's a legend, and she is the moment.
I love this book. My God, I love this book so much. This follows Kira Johnson. She's 17. I think she's 17, right? Yeah, she's 17. She's 17. She's 17-year-old. She's an honor student. She's one of the few black people in a mostly majority white school. And while she's dealing with all of that in the day, because trust me, when you're the only black person within a group of majorly white people, you know the microaggressions and the casual racism and the overt racism, everything will be tossed at you. Like, that is happening. But at night, she's a game developer and she created this really amazing multimedia role-playing game, right, called Slay, that is exclusively for and played by black people from all over the world. So you have this melting pot of the black experience, you know, and it's spread across the globe, and it is just brilliant. And it's taken like from black culture, I repeat, across the globe, right? There's like the minute there was the fufu move, and I'm like, God damn, Brittney Morris! Someone needs to make this game. I need to play this game. I need this game desperately. I need it in my life. I need someone to create this game. I will pay money to play this game. Oh my God, it's so good. And like, so she's creating this awesome badass game that I desperately want to play. But when it is that things go wrong and one of her players is killed, her game gets put in the spotlight, and she's dealing with all these accusations of, oh my God, this game is racist. Why can't white people? You're discriminating against white people. To which I'm like,
you have got some flipping nerve.
The fucking audacity. But anyway, they're like, oh my God, blah, 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 discriminating against white people, blah, blah, blah. And she's dealing with all of this, and then to make matters worse, there is some piece of shit in her game who wants to take a game down from the inside. And she's like, what the fuck? And, you know, so she has to, like, take a stand, fight for a game, and also, like, refuse to let all these people who do not know what a game is and what her game is about take over the narrative, while still creating and maintaining this safe space for all the black people who have connected with and love her game. I love this book. I adore this book. I want to have this book's babies. Kira Johnson is magnificent. I really, really, really would love it, Brittney. I can't wait for the next book that Brittney Morris writes, because she's an author, but this book, as a gamer, as a black gamer, as a black girl who games, this book made me feel so seen. I do not go online when I'm playing games, because do you fucking know how racist the gaming industry is? Do you know how fucking racist the game? I miss out on so much of an experience because I don't get to play with others, and like, just I want Slay to exist so bad, because I loved this book. Every moment of this, it gave me joy. It was black girl magic, black joy, and it was just so satisfying. Every moment of this was just epic and brilliant and fantastic. The writing, everything was just spectacular. The world building, like the way in which the viral scenes in this were described, was just fucking mind-blowingly good. Brittney Morris can fucking write. She can write. So of course you all can tell I gave this 5 stars. Who is surprised? Show of hands.
Alrighty, bestie. I love you. You're my everything.
Moving on to my reread, because I said I read 3 new books and 2 rereads. The first reread I read was Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I'm buddy reading this with my very good friend Sarah over at Novel Serendipity, and because Sarah read Throne of Glass. She loves Dakota series. She loves House of Earth and Blood, which is the first book in the Christian City series, but she could not get into Throne of Glass because she was like, oh my God, she stopped like at the very first 2 pages of Hellfire. I'm like, that is where this series get good. So I was insisting, and now she started, and I'm so we're doing a body read, and like we call each other practically every day to talk about like the chapters we've read, and I body read Assassin's Blade with her. And there's just something about doing a reread of Assassin's Blade that just you like, once again, it further ties up all these little threads that Sarah J. Maas ties up in the later book, and you're like, that is just fucking brilliant. But also, like, Sam Cotland, like, once again, my heart is breaking. Once again, I'm like, see, this is, I think that the reason why I got into the Throne of Glass series and actually really enjoyed the series was because this was the first book in the series that I read. I always recommend to everybody, and that was what I recommended to Sarah, that start with Assassin's Blade, because in Assassin's Blade you get an understanding of who Selena is, you get an understanding of what her motives are, you also get a glimpse of her assassin's ability, because not gonna lie, in Throne of Glass she barely assassinated anybody. I'm like, what the fuck, you're an assassin, kill people. But in this you really do get a glimpse of that, and I really did, like I said, I enjoyed the setup. I enjoyed the fact that this book, which is basically a collection of 5 novellas, made you understand what Selena's motivations are, but also gave you a reason to continue reading the book, because there's a piece of shit in this that you absolutely wanted to get, like wanted him to get his comeuppance. And I was consistent with reading the series up until when I really got hooked in the series, just because I wanted him to get his comeuppance. And reading about when that finally happened was so satisfying. So I reread this. It's still a 4-star read. It's not 5-star, but it's still a solid 4-star read for me, and I really did enjoy it. Next, I reread A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd book in A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I reread it. I did not body read it with anybody, but I reread this because, like you saw in my haul video, my last haul video, A Court of Silver Flames is here. So I started the reread of the ACOTAR series last year so that I can be all caught up by the time that arrived. So I finally finished this. I only have A Court of Frost and Starlight left to go, and then I will be able to read A Court of Silver Flames. But I really did enjoy this. I would say that I totally could get why people felt like this book kind of dragged and it kind of meandered, but then at the same time, like I said, it's a war book. I think a lot of people, when they pick up a war book, they do not actually adjust their expectations. They expect it to have a lot of action and a lot of moving forward, but war is all about fighting a little battle, re-strategizing, making sure that you have all your armies in place, making sure that you have the chance to win this war. You win a little battle, you go back, you re-strategize. It's a lot of that. So I think that is something that a lot of people forget or are not really aware of, or maybe they do not read a lot of war books, because that's something that Brittney, my very good friend Brittney over at Melanie Eclectic, that's something we talk about, because we both love reading war books, and a lot of people are not aware of what they should they're not aware of, like, there's a commonality in war books that I saw in this book that I see in the Poppy War series that a lot of people do not get, and I'm just like, yeah, but that's kind of how it works. Once again, I'm like, oh my god, sure, Sarah gave us a happy ending that a lot of people felt was unearned, but I kind of wanted a happy ending, and I'm really, really happy and through the roof that she gave me that happy ending. I'm not going to look a good gift horse in the mouth. Hell no. So yeah, I did enjoy it. Once again, for me, it's still a 5-star read. I know a lot of people are like, my god, Maria, A Court of Wings and Ruin, a lot of people do not like it. It's like their least favorite book in the ACOTAR series. In fact, I think that after Akomath, which is A Court of Mist and Fury, reading this book kind of soured the entire series for them. But that's because A Court of Mist and Fury was about Farah's emotional development, right? And also her gaining her agency. A Court of Wings and Ruin is her putting those powers to work and also fighting in a war. And I think that the expectation for both should be different, because both stories and the trope that they work with are very, very varied and very different. But I also gave this a 5-star. My reread, I loved it. But yeah, those are the 5. Are there 5 books? Yes, those are the 5 books I'm going to be sharing in this wrap up. Like I said, 4 books. I read 4 books in March. I read A Court of Wings and Ruin in April. So that's the only book I've read so far. Pray for me. I have so many books I want to read, actually. I cannot wait. But yeah, that is my wrap up. Let me know which of these books I mentioned you have not yet read and you're interested in reading because of how I'm gushing about it or what I said about it, because you all can tell I did have a pretty good reading month. actually a pretty good reading 6 weeks because it's been a month and a half. Let me know which of these books I mentioned you've already read and really, really enjoyed. Let me know which of these books I read that I loved and you absolutely hated. I do not mind. Talk about it. I feel that everybody has different reading tastes, and I'm not going to judge you based off of, oh my god, I read this book and I loved it. That could you not love it? Like, nah, life is too short. Read what you want to read and enjoy what you want to enjoy, and like, claim it with your chest, because you all know me. If I love shit, I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to like love it openly. You can tell from my voice, my energy, my screams, etc., etc. Today is a good day. Today is a good day. I was able to film, so as you all can tell, my energy is up and up. Today is a good day. I don't know how tomorrow will feel, because like I already mentioned, I'm going through a depressive episode. So today's a good day, which was why I filmed, and I'm really happy to share these books with you. I don't know if tomorrow would be a good day as well, but that's why I filmed today. And if it is that you're watching this and you're currently going through a depressive episode, or your mental health is like, kicking you in the ass, just know that I would give the advice my very good friend Dee gave me last week. Because last week I refused to stand up from my bed. I could not leave my bed. I wasn't brushing my teeth. I wasn't eating. I wasn't bathing. I wasn't doing anything. I just wanted to close my eyes and just keep sleeping. And he said, you know what? Just take it a minute at a time. Take it from someone who has been battling their depression for the last 15, 20 years. He said, take it a minute at a time. So this minute, breathe. This minute, get out of bed. Next minute, brush your teeth, wash your face, get yourself something to eat, shower, take a nap for an hour, work for 2 hours, because I still had to work to pay bills. Like, there's nothing it's so hard having to work or go to school. So it's like, nap for an hour, work for 2 hours, take another nap. And it just said, just take it a minute at a time. Little task. And next thing you know, the day has ended, and then you do the same thing tomorrow and the day after that, and just one step in front of the other. So I'll share that advice with you, because that is how I've been surviving for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, that is this video. As always, if you did enjoy it, do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos. Subscribe if you want to, and if you do decide to subscribe, do not forget to click on the notification bell. So after you've hit subscribe, click on that bell so you can have all notifications turned on, so you don't miss any of my new videos. I make new videos every Wednesdays and Sundays. Although sometimes I make it on Thursdays and Mondays, and sometimes I might put multiple videos in a week, depending on what I plan and what I want to share that week, that month. So like I said, hit subscribe. If you already subscribed, just go click on that subscribe icon again so that you can see that bell, so you can click on it, so you have all notifications turned on, so you don't miss any of my videos. Follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I might start making TikTok, I'm not sure yet. Because I love watching TikTok. I'm especially on lesbian TikTok, because women, they take my breath away. But yeah, that is the end of this video. I will see you soon. Until next time, stay passionate, love books, love your nerdy ass self. Like, love yourself.